First 50 people in. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. We are so excited to be back again for another deep dive customer webinar. As always, we're going to wait to get everyone logged in. Hi, Paula. Kevin, how are you?
I'm so good. This is fun. I mean, this has been a couple months. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a long time since I've gotten to hang out with you. So I couldn't be happier this morning. And it's sunny out. It's not cold anymore. I was starting to get bitter, Kevin, there for a couple of months. So
I'm in my new office. I'm not at my house, which is real exciting. I have this really beautiful piece of art that I was hoping to hang this morning before our session, but here we are.
It's okay. I actually am in a new office too. I just decorated it exactly like my room.
Just like your bedroom.
Yeah, just to keep things consistent.
Oh, I love it. Oh, everyone in the chat saying hi. Well, we're going to wait another minute before we completely jump in and give people to log in. We had over 1,500 people register today. So we're really, really excited. I don't know if it's just that you missed Kevin and I so much, or if you're really excited to hear all of these answers to some questions. But for those of you that don't know, open up that chat window, change the to everyone so that you have a chance to say hello and let us know where you are joining us from. Just so you all, someone said, yes, it was that they missed us. Just as you see there in the chat can move really, really quickly, especially when we have this many people on. So use this chat throughout the session to comment, right? You can say things in there like, ooh, I love this idea, or I never thought of that, or ooh, I tried that and it worked. Whatever it is, use this to interact with your other attendees. This is your BombBomb community here. So use that chat throughout the session, but questions can get lost there real quick. So we do have some moderators today helping in chat and Q&A, but if you have a specific question that you want to make sure gets answered, you're going to want to make sure you put that in the Q&A box. We got hundreds of responses for questions, and we're going to try and cover some major themes today. If you asked a question, we don't answer it today. Please know it's not because we don't care. It's probably because there was too many questions, or it wasn't relevant enough to the larger audience. But send that question to support. You can still email support@bombbomb.com and ask your question there. And then we are going to save some time for some open Q&As at the end. So we've got Michelle and Erica helping out in chat. Thank you so much, ladies. We're excited to have you. Kevin, we've got a few things to talk about before we jump into the questions.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, first off, I already saw a Q&A come in from Laura, and I'm sure this is a question that a lot of you have. Is this being recorded? Yes. We always record these. We'll always send you a follow-up email after this as well, so you can have that recording. But also know, if you ever want to rewatch a webinar or go back and rewatch old webinars, if you go to bombbomb.com/webinar, we have the whole library of all of these client webinars, these deep dive webinars that we're doing with you guys. So just know that if you miss anything, if you have to leave early, that's okay. I promise you'll get a recording of that, which is really fun. One thing we did want to touch base on, and this is sometimes we don't like bringing up the small issues that we're having with BombBomb, but we also want to be transparent and honest with you guys as well. We know some of you have run into an issue with the screen recorder recently. And so we just wanted to touch on that because this did come through in some of your questions for this webinar itself. We didn't want to ignore that. So first off, we want to apologize. I could go through the whole story of why these things have happened, but none of you really care. You just want to know, when is it going to be working again, right? So if you have been experiencing any of these screen record issues, there's like 2 or 3 right now that we are working through. We are actually going to be releasing a fix in the next, hopefully 2 weeks, that's going to fix about 60% of these issues that are going on right now. I don't want to give you an exact timeline because, of course, you know how things go. They can always run into hiccups and something didn't work the way we thought, or it didn't fix it the way we had hoped. But I do want you to know that ultimately, if you are having any issues with the screen recorder, any lag stuff, any sound issues, I've even had a little bit of glitching from time to time on mine. Those are things we see. We notice those. We are working on the fixes for those, and hopefully in the next short period of time, we will have some of those fixed. If you are experiencing that, please let us know at support, because we can add your situation to this greater report. And it really helps us push that through and prioritize these sort of things. So do not feel like, okay, the fix is coming, I don't need to say anything. No, please let us know. We can add that ticket to the issues that are going on kind of with the screen recorder itself. But I did talk with our care team, and we hopefully have a release in the next, really, really close time period here that's going to fix a lot of those. Alicia, did you have something to add to that?
Oh, I just wanted to add, the other nice thing is, number one, when there's a known issue like this, we still want to know that you're having issues, one, so that we can keep to escalate it. But the other advantage is that if we have a ton of tickets all dealing with the same known issue, when it's updated and when there's a fix or when there's an update, we can let everyone know that submitted a ticket. And we've done that before in the past, sort of like a mass, like, hey, just so you know, this is fixed. So it's really helpful for us. We do want to know what's going on there. I saw in the chat, someone said, yes, I was cussing at the screen recorder last night. Please don't cuss at the screen recorder. That's not good for your own energy. Just give us a quick ticket and let us know that you're frustrated, okay?
But we see you, we hear you. Please let us know on those sort of things. We understand it can be a little bit frustrating. So just wanted to touch on that before we jumped into anything else. Now, the other great thing that we want to touch on is cool, exciting news. Those of you that have been with us for really any period of time since we've been hosting these webinars before have heard us talk about human-centered communication, have heard us talk about digital pollution and some of these bigger themes that we are really focusing on why video is powerful, why you are powerful, and how we can kind of rehumanize some of these discussions. One of the really cool projects that we've launched within this human-centered communication idea is this documentary that we made. It's actually called Dear First Name. And Erica, if you want to, oh my gosh, look at how on it she is. She's already got the link there. It's on YouTube. It's about, I want to say 35 to 40 minutes, kind of in that range of length. But it's really a documentary talking with leaders in your space, in sales world, people that are trying to figure out a lot of the same issues you probably are, and problems they're running into, how they're using solutions to fix that, how video is a piece of that puzzle. But go watch it. It's really great. Really exciting news. We actually also won one of the Hermes Creative Platinum Awards, which is really awesome. It's a great organization that puts things out there for creative endeavors, whether it's digital or not. You can look them up. They're really neat as well. But hopefully, the reason I bring that up is to let you know it's actually worth your time of 35 or 40 minutes. Somebody completely outside of BombBomb said, this is really cool. We really like this. We want to recognize this. And we think it will potentially give you some verbiage and bring some thoughts to maybe some of the issues that you've been running into in your business. So take a look at that link that Erica posted. If you scroll up just a little ways, you'll see it there. It's a youtube.com link. And that's where we have that documentary loaded on. So we just wanted to let you all know about that. If you weren't able to attend the live screenings that we did, don't miss out on that, because there's some really, really neat stuff. I've actually watched it twice now. So it's cool. So we just wanted to let you guys know kind of those two things. You're going to hear us talk about human-centered communication and digital pollution and those sort of things a lot. In fact, Alicia, I was just talking to you about this. It's always fun to see real world examples of some of the reasons and the deeper meaning behind why we do what we do here at BombBomb, right? For those of you that either work in the mortgage space or have applied for a loan or a refi or anything in the last little while, my wife and I are going through a project right now on our house, and we just applied for a loan. And this was a perfect case of kind of the digital pollution that we are trying to fight through. We applied for this loan. We have a lender. We're happy. We've got good rates. We've done a lot of searching on our own. And I have received in the last 2 days, 48 calls. Oof. I've gotten 7 voicemails and 7 text messages from other lenders that just got fed my information because of this application. Yeah. This is not a perfect example of kind of this digital pollution and the amount of times I would not be surprised if you see me look at my phone and I have to decline a call that comes in because of these spam risks, these numbers I don't know, all of this stuff that's coming in. And it was just a really great reminder that I thought, what an interesting thing to kind of share with you guys of these are the things that consumers and clients are dealing with. You're probably dealing with them, right? But it's so good to remember this when we're on the other side of it, because I think it's so easy for us to think, literally look, spam risk. It literally just came through on my phone. I couldn't have timed that better if I tried. But it's just a really great reminder of why we're doing the things, why we're being personal, why we're trying to think of the client, why we're really leaning into this human-centered communication idea. And hopefully some of the questions we answered today will continue to wrap around that. But it was just one of those real world situations I've been going through that it was just like, I have to share this with people because it's happening every single day to different people like that. So
All right. Well, let's get into the good stuff because we got lots and lots of questions and we really want to highlight some of these things. Our whole goal today was to answer what you guys are needing help with. And so the very first question, which I love, that came to us, and there was a few that really focused on this same theme around adoption, which is how do I get our salespeople to actually buy in and use this product? And so, whether you're leading a sales team or not, whether you've got just one or two people you're trying to get on board with video, this is a hot topic. And Kevin, you do a lot on the customer success side and getting these teams adopted. So I'd love to hear from you some of the thoughts that you have on getting buy-in from the salespeople that are using it.
Sure. And first and foremost, I want you to know, trust me, you are not alone in this being a struggle, right? People purchase BombBomb, pay us to help onboard them, and still can sometimes have trouble getting their people to buy into this. So the great thing is, like Alicia mentioned, as the client enablement manager here, I work on the customer success side. I work with our enterprise team and our onboarding managers to try and overcome some of these. And so I wanted to break it down into just a couple of really digestible bullet points that you can process. If you need to get, whether it's one person around you, like Alicia said, or a whole team that you're trying to build some of this energy around, here's the first thing that we need to kind of think around is really have kind of honesty and empathy with your team and trying to understand what is holding them back. I think so often they're just like, we hear excuses all the time, Alicia. I mean, you and I were on sales together. If I don't have time for this, or I don't want to do this, I'm not a video person. There's a million excuses, but really spend the time to understand your team and what is that issue. Yep. Maybe they really don't feel like they have time because they're feeling so bogged down by everything else they have to do that one more thing feels like too much. That could be a legit thing, right? Maybe they don't feel like a video person because they're scared. They're nervous. There's so many psychological things that I could spend an entire hour talking about.
The confidence issue is a big one. And I think a lot of times, like, sales leaders overlook that in the sense of they're like, oh, we have a product, everyone uses this product now. And they don't realize the psychological aspect that comes with for a lot of people turning on that camera and recording a video for the first time. It's not like using another piece of software. There's definitely some psychological aspects there. So yeah, that empathy piece is really, really important.
Well, and also, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have felt that issue of like, oh, am I comfortable in this, right? There's always that little hump that we have to get over. I still feel it from time to time, and I've got thousands of videos in my account. But just take that time to understand. I actually heard a great story, Alicia, from one of our customer care reps. They were talking with a client who actually bought ring lights off of Amazon for all of her team that's going to be using video. And the reason she did it is she said, I just want to make sure that I'm helping provide the things that they need to feel good enough to be on camera, right? And it's not to say you need to go buy tons of equipment and spend tons of money on it, but she saw that as a potential hurdle and said, here's something I'm going to get you to help you so that that doesn't become a problem. Because lighting matters, right? How we look on camera, how we perceive ourselves is going to affect whether we record or not. So
and I will say, I just saw someone ask in chat, is the ring light really worth it? I bought mine for like $29 on Amazon. I absolutely think it's going to be worth it. If you're going to do a lot of video in the same place, just having that ring light there or any light, but I like the ring light. It gives me different options. I can dim it. I can change the color of the light. But yeah, I think just having it right there on your desk is really helpful. Okay, so honesty and empathy and understanding why they're really struggling. But what are some of the other things that you could do to help your team really adopt?
The number one thing that is so important that we see, and we have numbers on this as far as team adoption, is leading by example. The person who is driving the ship has to be using video. So you need to be sending video not only externally to your clients, use it with the people you are trying to encourage to use video, right? Send them videos, whether it's little business updates, whether it's, hey, just checking in, seeing how your day is going, right? Want to make sure that I'm here to support you.
The more job.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your hard work. Great job today. Simple, quick videos like that are really helpful. One, because it shows that you're kind of, I've always heard the saying like eating your own dog food. That's a weird saying. I don't know why that's a thing, but basically you're doing what you're telling them to do, right? So they can follow your example. And two, it also is really great from the standpoint of they see that it doesn't have to be perfect. They start to feel what it's like to receive this video so they can feel what their clients are going to feel. They can see that this is just you just talking. It simplifies when we think of video, we think of a lot of complex things.
Yeah.
You guys all know that our simple video idea, it doesn't have to be complex. It's just us talking, being humans, getting in front of the people that need to see us more, right? And so if they can start to feel that from the recipient side, it makes a world of difference. So use it, use it, use it. Lead by example is probably the most important one that we can kind of tell you on that. Now, the third kind of tip that we threw out here, Alicia, was kind of building energy, right? And this is an idea that you were really passionate about. So I want to let you speak to this, but how do you think is a good way to build that energy within the team?
Yeah, I think that we've seen that when we launch an account, a bigger account to a smaller group of individuals that really want it, you're going to have better results as opposed to just giving it to everyone right away. So if you find your handful of champions or handful of people that really want to use video and really are excited to try new things or are the braver on your team or whatever, if you start with them and can make them really successful and start getting them to have wins, the rest of your sales team is going to say, oh, wait, like, no, I want that too. Wait, when can I do that? Oh, well, this is a pilot. You got to like, hold on, we're going to get this to you. But creating some energy and momentum around like a smaller group of individuals that are excited is going to have a different feel in your organization than just giving it to everyone and saying, you've got to do this now. The other key is that you want them to be successful right away. So rather than just giving them a video product and giving them, all of these options of things they could do, you want to systematize one or two things in your sales process that are going to be places where your team, the small group of individuals, starts using video. That way, number one, you have a little bit more control over seeing what's working and what's not working. On that team dashboard, you're going to be able to see, whose videos are getting opened, whose reply rates. And that way you can say, okay, we tried it on this specific place in our sales funnel, right? We tried it for that initial follow-up after the first demo. And when you're seeing really good results there, then you know that that's where it works in your sales funnel, and you can systematize that for other people in your organization so that everyone has wins. If they're having wins early on, if they're getting great responses, they're going to keep using video. If they're just sending video out to the ether and not getting responses, they're not going to keep using it. So start with a small group, get them excited, get them successful, and then you can systematize that and launch it out to the larger team.
Well, Alicia, that's such a good point. This is something we've really kind of refocused from an enterprise standpoint of being more directive with our coaching and our onboarding. And what we mean by that is finding those specific ideas. Don't say, great, here's a video platform, use it however you want. Going, no, here's a new platform we're trying. I want you to use it at this moment in your pipeline, at this moment in your sequence. Narrow it down, help them win in that moment, and then expand it. So just to kind of back that up, we have seen great success and encouragement with doing that when we're helping onboard teams. So know that that is something we've really seen proven there, which I think is really great. I've been seeing some chats and stuff come in, Alicia, while you're talking about, I'm not getting the view rates I want. I'm not getting the open rates I want, those sort of things. I promise you, hang tight. We do have those questions on the list here. I promise we're going to get to those before this webinar is over, because you are not alone in asking some of those sort of questions. So we're going to do that. So second question here that we wanted to kind of jump to as well. So we're talking about how do we encourage our teams to use it. This next theme that we started coming was this idea of what is generally the right frequency of video emails to use, right? So if we're thinking about, I have this cadence, I have these sequences, I reach out to people at certain times, how often should I put video in? How much should it be included? This is a great question, and I think something that we all kind of try to evaluate as we're diving into a new thing. So, I mean, Alicia, you've worked with tons of teams and tons of people on the sales side, and as you've marketed to teams and things, what are your thoughts on this when you hear that?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that, when we talk about human-centered communication, we've been trying to be really clear that human-centered doesn't mean just replacing the other emails in your sales cadence with a video and calling it good, and now everything is going to be solved, right? Like, oh, well, I've got video in all my sales cadence, and now the money is going to start rolling in. The key here is to be really thoughtful about where video makes the most sense in your process. And so you don't want to commit death by video to a prospect in the same way that you don't want to do death by email sequence and sales cadences. So you want to think about multi-channel approaches, for example, like, maybe you send a video for that first point of contact and maybe they play it and they don't get a response. That's fine. That doesn't necessarily mean that your next video should be, hey, I sent you a video. How come you didn't reply? Like the next thing you send maybe should be a blog post or an article or an item of value or something really, really specific to them. Don't even send a video with that. Just send something really valuable. And then, maybe the next piece in your cadence is a video, but maybe this one isn't a personal video. Maybe this one is a pre-recorded video talking about one of your services that you provide. And then maybe another video after that, a few days later, just saying, I wanted to see if you had any questions about that article that I sent. Like, so you don't want to just replace all of your emails with video. You want to be thoughtful about where it makes sense. What are those trigger points in your sales cadence where personal and human really, really matters? So that first touch, it's going to benefit you if you can be personal. You can say the person's name. If you can reference something specific to them and highlight value that you can offer them, well, that's really going to benefit you. So video should definitely be there. When you are asking a question or maybe explaining something complex, video is going to be really, really beneficial there. So I can't tell you in your sales cadence what steps video needs to be in, but what I can encourage you to do is be really thoughtful about what places in that sales cycle is a human important, right? What point in that cadence is being able to personalize a message and be really empathetic and like really highlight your value and who you are. That's what I think is really important there. You do want to remember though, that it takes on average like 8 to 10 touches before someone is even going to respond to you. So mix it up, right? Throw some plain text emails in there. Go to LinkedIn, connect with them on LinkedIn, share some value there. But the most important thing is do not replace all of your bad emails with video and think that you've solved the problem.
Yeah, I love that death by video. Like that's not our goal, right? Our goal is not to just bombard people with our face constantly, because then of course it becomes a negative impact versus the positive impact that we're hoping for. So Alicia, I'm so glad you touched on this stuff at the end of be creative with this. Here's I think one of the most impactful things about human-centered is think about where can you be more human, but also think from the client's perspective. If I'm a client receiving this cadence of emails or messages, where would I want it to be more human? Where is the value for me as the recipient? And think about this. I mean, I could ask you guys right now, what's your favorite way to be communicated with? Do you like email? Do you like text message? Do you like social media messages? Are you on WhatsApp? And we would get 100 different answers of what we prefer. Yeah. Think about that. Yeah. Not every client that you reach out to wants to be communicated to in the same way. Some people hate email because they've got 12,000 notifications in their email inbox and they're overwhelmed by it, right? That digital pollution has just overwhelmed them. Some people don't like text messages, right? One of the things I hate about text messaging is I can't read a text message and then mark it as unread again. I don't know why that's not a thing. That should be a thing, but I will forget it. I just know myself with my crazy life and all my kids and things. I don't want to forget to respond, but I may not be at a good time, right? So it's good to add these different levels, different pieces with video, different ways that you're communicating, different mediums that you're reaching out to them, because everybody is different. Yeah. So I wish we could just say 7. That's the number. Use it that many times.
Our sales team would be thrilled if we could nail down the perfect number.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, you touched on this a little bit. One of the other questions that kind of bleeds into this was this idea of, do you recommend resending a BombBomb message to a recipient who hasn't opened the original message or hasn't engaged in the original way? Alicia, you and I kind of laughed when we were talking about this question yesterday. There's so many different ways to think about this. 99.9% of the time, no, do not just recycle the exact same message and send it again. Because we don't know why they didn't engage with it in the first place. We're making a lot of assumptions if we do that, right? Now, I think I joked with you yesterday, Alicia. I was like, now, if this is absolutely the best video that has ever been recorded in the history of humankind, maybe it's worth reusing it again because it's just so good they have to see it. But most of the time, I think the right way to analyze that is start to ask yourself and look at the message and go, why wouldn't this have gotten responded to? Why wouldn't this have gotten engaged with, right? Did they not even open the email? Did they open the email and not watch the video? I mean, these are some of the questions that you guys have been throwing in chat and Q&A that we're going to kind of bleed into a little bit here. But ask yourself those questions and look back at the message itself.
Yep.
If the subject line is not good, and maybe we can talk through just some strategies on that as we kind of continue to bleed into this, Alicia. They're not going to open the email. If it looks super salesy, they're not going to open the email. If it wasn't personalized, whatever, those might be things to fix that we can readjust. Maybe they popped into it and there was no value for them and they deleted it right away, right? It's so hard to know. Or heck, maybe they just looked at it and it was sent at a bad time of day for them. Maybe they got into the office and had 65 emails waiting for them and it just got grouped in. And when can we think about sending it, disrupting the inbox a little bit, right? These are all things to analyze when you see something that was an important message that you think there was good value behind that wasn't engaged with. And that's going to really dictate some of the responses you can have from there.
Well, I love this because this really bleeds into or leads us into something that we saw a ton of questions about, both when the questions came in and also that we're seeing here in chat. So let's talk about the low watch rate, right? Because we hear this all the time from people, like, yeah, but I send an email and no one watches my video, or I see people opening my emails, but they don't play the video, or how do I get them to open the email? So we're just going to talk some strategy around all of this and kind of try and be really clear here about this, like about how do you get them to open it or play the video or some things here. So I think the first thing that you have to think about is your subject line, because that is the very first clue that they have into deciding whether they're going to open this email, number one. And number two, once they open up that email, they do have to take a second step, which is to press play on that video. So your subject line is really the first place where they're making a decision and where you get to help them make that decision. Surprisingly, the data shows that having video in the subject line gets you a tiny boost in open rate, but having video in the subject line doesn't get you a massive bump in open rate. Interestingly enough, though, having video in the subject line increases play rates. Okay, so we have data to back it up. I don't have the specific numbers for you right now, but that's one of the first suggestions that I can give you is let people know in the subject line that there is a video contained in that email. The statistics on consumer time that consumers are watching videos, I think it's something like the average person watches 2 hours of video online a day. That's combined between YouTube and Facebook and WhatsApp messages and all of that, but 2 hours. So that tells you that consumers want to watch video. So let them know right away in your email that there's a video in there.
Well, and Alicia, I know some of the numbers on that. I believe the study that we did about this, we saw about a 6 to 7% jump in open rates, which is not minuscule, right? I mean, first off, this is a good thing to talk about too. What are our expectations in sending emails? I think there's this funny expectation of we're like, I sent it, they should open it, right? I am guilty of that. I feel like that should be the case. And it's frustrating when they don't. But if we look at general email open rates, I mean, the average open rate of email sends is what, in the low 20s, I think, high teens, low 20%. So that shows you there's a lot of email being sent that's not being engaged with. So that's kind of our expectation. We'll just use, 18 to 22% as kind of our range of if you're getting that many emails opened, you're doing pretty well. You're in the norm. If you're above that, great. But that's our normal base, right? But to that study you were talking about, we saw about a 7% jump in open rates and then a 30% increase in play rates. So that really goes to the point you're saying of it does get some more people into the email, but the people that do go into the email are way more likely to watch that video because we built that expectation for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now they've opened up the email, right? You've put video in the subject line. You've put video for Kevin following up on our phone call or whatever it is. So Kevin's opened up the email now. And what you want at the top of that email is you still want to greet them like you would with any email. Okay. One of the worst things you can do, and pay attention if you're distracted, if you're looking at your phone, one of the worst things you can do is just send the video with no accompanying text. Okay. What you want to do is you want to set up the top of the email the same way as you would greet them with anything else, like, hey, Kevin, or hello, Mr. Lender, or whatever it is, right? You still want to open up that email with a greeting. And then you want to let them know why they should play the video. Just that opening line of text should be letting them know what value they're going to find in the video. Hey, Kevin, I recorded you a quick follow-up video in regards to our conversation with some additional ideas, right? Oh, okay. She had some more ideas after our conversation and they're in the video. I got to press play on the video to hear those ideas. That opening line of the email is to pique their interest and let them know what they're going to find in the video. Okay. So that's really important, that opening line of text above the video. Obviously what you have on your video thumbnail is going to help with that play rate. A couple things here. Obviously we've been teaching the whiteboard or the app with the person's name on it for years. If it's a personal video, you can do that. Even if it's not a personal video, writing something on the whiteboard, like we have a lender who uses a pre-recorded video and the sign he holds up says, this video is for you, right? So something unique or interesting to grab their attention. We have found that video thumbnails where the person is walking and talking, like that motion, really, really effective. So if you're talking about mass sending, say, for example, you're a lender or you're a real estate agent and you want to send a video out to a couple hundred of your clients, letting them know an update on what's happening with interest rates. That video is going to probably get a higher play rate if you do it on your phone and are walking while you're talking. I can't tell you why, I'm just telling you that those are some of the things that we've seen that help increase play rate. So an interesting thumbnail, right? I know some of you desperately want to have like a static thumbnail with your company logo as the first image on the video. It's not helping you. It's not helping you at all. A human face, a smile, something interesting or movement or something unexpected. These are the best things you can do to get that video played, okay?
And just for your reference, everybody, too, for those of you that might be newer to BombBomb, we take the first 3 seconds of your video to make this animated preview. That movement in the email is really important. It really helps people want to click play and be more curious about the video itself. So this is something that will help you. So just for reference, when she's talking about moving around or taking a separate thumbnail, if you don't do anything, just know whatever you do in that first 3 seconds of your video is what's going to be in that animated preview in the email itself. So for example, when she's talking about like personalizing it, right? I've actually got an app on my phone that I use all the time. And I even have one from one of the last videos. Hi, Simon, right? I'll hold that up in my video. That doesn't mean I sit here and hold it for my entire video, right? I just say, hey, Simon, it's Kevin here with BombBomb. Hey, I wanted to reach out to you because of X, Y, and Z. And I go into my message, right? So hold it there because that's what shows up in the email and the animated preview and helps you out. I see a ton of questions about what app is that. So I promise you I will chat that in just a second for the different phone types. But I just wanted to give some reference for that because sometimes we've been doing this for so long, we don't necessarily explain how does that come about? Where does that come from? So just to kind of add to what you were saying there.
No, I appreciate that. The last thing I want to say on like formatting that email to help your email get your video played is you want to make sure that you also do put a line of text underneath the video. Okay. This is especially important if you are using the Gmail or Outlook extension, or if you're taking the video HTML and putting it into your email client. And it's really, really important that you have a line of text under that video, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why. If you've ever opened a forwarded email and you only see like the first, couple lines of text, and then you see those 3 dots and you click on that and then you can open it up and you can see the whole thread. This is something that inboxes just do automatically with like all the extra stuff there, okay? If you do not put a line of text underneath your video, even just saying thank you or have a great day or whatever it is, there is a chance, okay? It's not a guarantee, but there is a chance that their inbox truncates the message puts those 3 dreaded dots there, and they can't see your video thumbnail anymore. So if you just sent an email and it didn't say there was a video in there, and you didn't say press play, and you just had a line of text, and then the video wasn't there because the inbox had truncated it, they may have just been confused and been like, what a weird email. They only said like 3 things, and then delete and move on. So I myself, as long as I have been doing this, have been guilty of sending someone something and then being like, well, you said there was a video, but I didn't see any video. And I'm like, oh, it's because I did not put that line of text under there, and their inbox truncated the message, and they could not see that that video thumbnail was there. So it's as easy as saying thank you or best wishes or signing your name under that video, but that is going to make sure that when they open up the email, they actually see the video thumbnail there. Again, it's not a guarantee that the message gets truncated. We have no control over that. That's an inbox thing on their end.
Yeah. And I think one thing, just to kind of summarize a little bit, because Alicia, you've given so many awesome bullet points and things, but I want you to think about how an email is received. An email really is kind of a journey that you have to walk through. Think of it like a book, right? If I am in a bookstore, what's the first thing that makes you pick up one book or the other?
Cover,
it's the
right?
Title and the cover, right? Those are the first things you see. What does that equal in an email? Subject line. That's our first chance. If we don't have an interesting title, if the cover looks boring, I'm not even going to pick up and open that book. Then when we open the book or the email, what's the first thing that people are going to engage with? Well, they'll see your little animated preview, but what are they going to do before they ever click play? Read the text, right? That's where we have to build that excitement. And so I always refer to it as text wrapping. I'm wrapping the video in text is just kind of an easy way to think about it. The top, to Alicia's point, personalize it, let them know it's for them if possible. And then why should they click play, right? Drive the play on the video. And then that below text, again, for the technical reasons that Alicia talked about, as well as, have you ever gotten a voicemail? I mean, it doesn't happen as much anymore because our phones actually transcribe voicemails. But back in the day when I was a kid, do you remember when you'd get a voicemail and somebody would be like, all right, cool, call me back at 642-345-6444. And you're like, gosh, now I've got to listen to this 1.5-minute voicemail just to get the phone number again.
Totally.
That's not a good response. And we don't want the video to be that way as well. So I'll use like an appointment setting, right? We're setting an appointment with this email and with this video. If I give all the details in the video and they have to go back and rewatch that to get all those details, that may not be a great experience for them. Those are great things to type out below, right? Here's our date. Here's our location. Here's what to have prepared. We can summarize a few of the things. Don't give everything away that's in the video because we still want them to have to watch the video, but it's great to reiterate some of that information. So just start to think about your emails as kind of this journey that they have to go through. It's the title, then it's the text, then it's the video, then it's the call to action if there is one, right? That's kind of our final step in this process. I'm such a metaphor example person. I like thinking about things in like these nice rose-colored stories or examples. So that's one way that I've kind of processed through that to think about it. That's really helpful. And all of those pieces play together.
Yes.
So having a great animated preview with no text around it, you still might have low video plays, right? Having a terrible preview with lots of text, right? So we need to kind of try and compile all of these best practices the best the way that we can. Those are the things that are going to start to move those rates, move those numbers up in the direction that you want. And hopefully then that answers some of those questions of, do I have to send it again if they don't engage? If we're able to get a little bit more engagement and more personal and we're thinking through the value in this process the first time, that gives us a much better chance of getting those numbers interactions the way we want.
Which this moves us right into our next questions. There are themes here that came around mass emailing. And so we've got a few things that we're going to touch on here around the mass emailing. I'm going to start with this question about spam and promotion tabs. And when I send, it in mass, no one sees it. So let's talk about this because this is a common theme, both in the questions we got and in the chat. So the first thing that I really want to focus on is that there is a very important distinction between spam and the promotions tab. And I know that if you open up your promotions tab in Gmail, if you're a Gmail user, sometimes you may just think like, oh yeah, this is the spam tab. But what you need to understand about the Gmail inbox and that promotions tab is that Gmail is trying to serve their users, right? All of their Gmail users, which there are a lot of us. They are thinking about it from the perspective of user experience, not from the experience of you who's trying to send your marketing information, okay? So for Gmail, they have that personal, the social, and the promotions tab. And they are going to take anything that is being sent as a marketing type of material or promotional material, which means if you are sending it in mass to hundreds of people from any third-party email service, whether it's BombBomb or MailChimp or your CRM or Salesforce or anything, if you are mass sending an email from a third-party email platform, Gmail is going to look at that email and say, this is a promotional email and I'm putting it in the promotions tab, okay? That has nothing to do with spam. It has nothing to do with BombBomb. It has nothing to do with anything other than Gmail says, we want to protect our users and take all of that promotional email and keep it separate from the one-to-one direct messages that are coming from human beings that they want to talk to, okay? Now, for you as a user, if you want to get around this, the best thing that you could do is teach your people, train them, and say, if you find this really valuable and you want to make sure that you see it in your primary tab, you need to teach them how to designate that they want that to go to the primary tab. If they don't do it, there's not much we can do for you there, okay? So this is a really, really important distinction. I want you to understand that if Gmail is sending your BombBomb mass messages to the promotions tab, they would do that with anyone. They would do it with MailChimp. They're doing it with your CRM. They're doing it with Salesforce, anyone, okay?
Well,
Now,
and a good point, Alicia, that you pointed out is this really is to protect all of us. It really is a good thing that it's as smart as it is. It's frustrating when we are trying to market, but oh my gosh, if you go look at your promotions tab and see all of the things that got kind of weeded out and organized from your inbox,
yeah,
you would be so thankful that these things are in the works. So I know that's kind of a two sides of the same coin idea,
right?
but it can be frustrating in specific instances. But if we continue to segment and be specific and train our clients, we can also kind of help control that from our end and still see the benefits from the recipient side of it as well. So
yeah. Now, that only applies to Gmail users. Now, are there more Gmail users than most other email clients? Yes, that is true, but that only applies to Gmail users. Now, the spam thing, this is really important because we did an entire webinar on deliverability and spam, Kevin and I did, and this is a really complex topic. But here's the deal, okay? If you know that your BombBomb emails are going to spam, email our support team and let them know, because there are some things that we can take a look at there that may have nothing to do with us, nothing to do with you. It could be a permission setting that isn't activated on your email address. There could be, we have a digital thumbprint basically attached to our email address that inboxes take a look at. There could be things there that are affecting that deliverability. So again, if you are positive that your emails are actually going to spam, if people are telling you like, yeah, I went searching for your email and it was in my spam or my junk folder, let us know. Like that is something we want to know, because there are some things we can help you with. Can we fix that for every single email? No, but we actually have a really, really high deliverability rate. So our email, we're ranked well in the realm of email service providers. They deliver our email. Now, if you are sending one-to-one from Gmail or Outlook, or taking the BombBomb video file and putting it into any of your email clients, that has nothing to do with our servers. If you're sending one-to-one, it's going to get delivered to them right away. And the Chrome extension, that's where I wanted to go with this. I'm just looking at our notes here. So the Chrome extension is what powers our Gmail, but you can also use that Chrome extension to take a video and put it into one of your other mass systems. Like if you're sending from a CRM, or if you're sending from MailChimp, or if you're sending from, CCB, any of those types of services, you can use that Chrome extension to take the BombBomb video and send it right in there. You can also use that Chrome extension to add video to your email client. If you're not using Gmail, for example, like that Chrome extension is going to give you the ability to take that video file and put it anywhere if you don't want to mass send from the BombBomb platform, or if you're on an account level where you don't have the ability to mass send from the BombBomb platform, then you can use that. Kevin's showing you here. You just copy for email.
I'll even just hop into Gmail and show you guys. I don't have a CRM that I'm using consistently, but this will give you an idea. If I come in here and just paste it, boom, it automatically pulls that whole animated preview and everything in there. So it's very, and I just grabbed that out of my video library. You have access to that there. But if you record a new video, you'll have the exact same options. Copy link if you want to share through social media or a platform that doesn't support the coding for emails. Or if you've got a CRM or something that does support that HTML coding, then you can do that copy for email button. So you can use it anywhere you want, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I think what's awesome about this too, to your point with CRMs and stuff, Alicia, is you can have access to your Chrome extension on any website, on any page. It's built into the browser, not the page, right? So you can be logged into, I mean, I've seen a handful. Shape was one that was mentioned by Brad in the Q&A a little bit earlier. There have been a handful of ones, but you can be logged into Shape, come up here, open the Chrome extension, record your new video, paste that into your CRM like that, and be kind of moved on with your day. So I think that's a great tool if you are using the Chrome extension. If you use Chrome as your web browser, this is where I do 95% of my recording. Like I live in the Chrome extension there, which is great. I also pulled this up as well, Alicia. I was just thinking as you were talking through people, some people might go, oh yeah, how do I train my clients how to get out of promotions or things like that, right? Yeah. So I'll show you, first off, where do you even find it? If you are in Gmail, you'll come down here to your categories and expand that folder. And then you have your promotions tab. And I just opened this up for the first time in a long time. And I have hundreds of emails in here. So I'm as guilty of it as anybody. But when you open this specific email, you can show them, click this not promotions button, and it will give them the options to pull that out of promotions. The more they do that, the more it starts to go, no, I like this person. This is somebody I care about. And Gmail can process all of that and start putting your stuff in the inbox, which is really, really nice. So just some little kind of practical tips of some of the stuff.
While we're here, Kevin, yeah, I'm going to jump to the next question. I hope that the spam versus promotions tab and how to avoid that, I hope that's a little bit clearer to all of you. But before we jump out of this screen here, we had questions around saving your videos so that you can find them again, Kevin. So I'll let you kind of demo here, but first I just want to let everyone know is that every single video that you record in BombBomb is automatically saved. Well, I shouldn't say that. Once you click save, or if you just send it, it's saved to your video library, whether you title it or not. The advantage to titling them is, so number one, so that you can use it again or find it, but also it's really helpful for tracking as well, because our tracking notifications don't expire. So if you have titled a video, like say, for example, you're a real estate agent and you've titled that video, "Nice to meet you after our open house," or "open house follow-up," maybe that person opens the email and they never reply to you. But what happens if they go back 4 months later and open that email? Rather than just getting a random email address notification from someone you don't know that's like, oh, so-and-so, I don't know who that is, they opened my email. Oh. The notification that you'll get says open house follow-up video opened, and then you're like, oh, this is someone I want to talk to. So it's beneficial both for you finding your videos, but also tracking can really help you trigger whether it's an important one or not.
Well, and on that point, I'm just going to kind of walk through this. Our video recorder works the same no matter where you record from. So the process I'm going to walk you through should be pretty consistent. I'm going to go ahead and do this while I kind of add on to what Alicia was saying there. One of the other amazing things about actually naming your video, and I'll show you exactly where to do that after I stop this video here, is that they will be able to see the name of that video. So this is another thing. This will show up on your video page. It's another great way to use, another tool you can use to encourage them to play the video. If they see, hey, James, this is an open house video or open house follow-up, to Alicia's point there, that's a great reason for them to go, oh yeah, I remember going to that open house. This is personalized to me. It's got my name, right? They're making all of these thoughts and these processes really, really quick here. So I'll even just type those in as I'm giving this example. But you can see I just finished recording the video. This is where I have the option to add my CTA. These are some of those after video options. If you want to put a call to action in your video itself, you can toggle that on and fill that out, and it'll put a little blue button up at the top. Otherwise, to the original question here of how do I save the video, right? So I can have it. All you have to do is click this orange save button. That's literally it. This is so you can basically have an opportunity to say, oh, that video works, that video doesn't work, however I'm feeling about it. Once you've done that is when we give you all the options we were explaining before, the copy for email option, the copy for link option. We even have some direct social media ones here, which are really, really neat. And then there was another question earlier as well about what if somebody opens it and they can't watch the video because they're in a public place or they can't listen to the video. Did you know that BombBomb actually has closed captioning on videos now as well, where it can transcribe it for you? Now, I will give you the caveat. It will not be 100% perfect. The clearer you speak, the better chance it's got there. But we have seen some funny little kind of hiccups and things as well. But while we're in our account here, since we've showed you kind of how to name it, that saves it in your video library. I also wanted to show you where you can turn that on in your account if you want to. So if you hover over your name and go to your edit my profile, this is where all kind of the back end settings are on your account. And you'll see we actually have closed captioning as an option right here. So all you have to do is hop in, toggle that on, and then it will automatically close caption your videos and give them an option. If they want to see that video, they can read through the transcription. So if that's an issue you've been running into or been hearing from your clients, that closed captioning option is a really great option to kind of, not only is it wonderful for anybody that might be hearing impaired and may need that access there, but for those situations, maybe they're waiting in line at the grocery store and they don't have headphones. They don't want to just blast a video out loud, but they want to engage with it. They're interesting. They can play that, mute it, and read through it as you're kind of speaking to it as well. So there's some different options in there from a technical standpoint that can help you with your video plays, help you with that engagement and some of those numbers as well. So I kind of jumped. I digressed a little bit from something.
Perfect. No, earlier, but listen, we're trying to cram in as much as we can. But just to recap on the naming of your videos, once you name a video, it lives in your video library. This is a demo account that Kevin uses, so there's not a ton here in the video library, but you can drag videos into folders so that if you're gonna say, for example, if you've got like frequently asked questions and you have 10 videos that are your answers to your 10 most frequently asked questions, you can create a folder and then just drag those videos over there so that when you're trying to find them, they're right there in that folder. You can search for your videos by name using that search functionality. If you have 10,000 videos in your account like I do, the search is going to take a little time. But
it's so helpful. I mean, that's when it's a lifesaver. I've even been like, man, I don't remember what it was, but I remember the situation I sent the video.
Yeah.
And because Alicia, you and I are so diligent about naming our videos topical things, I can search follow-up, meeting, appointment, and it will bring up a fair number, but I can find it so much quicker than trying to just scroll through thousands and thousands of videos. So
people want to know if you can change the name of a video once you've named it.
That's a great question. Let's see. I'm going to go and click this edit button here. By the way, this is something fun to introduce. We are changing up our video edit screen right now. We have just launched this to 100% of our customers. It's a little bit simpler than it was before, but kind of teaser alert, that's so we can pile and add more great things that you guys have been asking for on top of it. So I'm not even going to lead into what those are because I have no idea on timelines and things, but no, this will look a little different. And then guess what? We can just highlight this, rename it. This is going to be a frequently asked question now. And then I can save it and it changes the name of that. So it automatically updates the video for you. So yes to that question.
Yep. All right, so we are getting close. We're going to go through some of these quick hits questions that were real quick answers, and then we're going to jump into some of the Q&As that have come in today. I think we answered some of the Q&As that came in while we were working through the other comments, but one of the quick hits was, once I make a video, how do I attach a document to send to my clients? My recommendation is that if you are sending documents that you want to send as attachments, that you're taking the BombBomb video and either sending it in your regular email client, right? Using that Chrome extension copy for email. And then you would just attach your documents as like anything. You do have an option to upload a document onto BombBomb. It'll save it as a file. We give it a landing or give it a landing page URL, and then you can insert that. But it's a lot clunkier. It's not ideal for what you're talking about. What you're talking about, just use that video Chrome extension or your Gmail or your Outlook extension, record your video, and attach the document to email as normal. When will you create the ability for users to send text video messages from your website? We won't, but you can always text from the mobile app. Our mobile app is going to give you the option to text, email, or share to social. The texting functionality from our mobile app uses your text message thing. So this is not a mass texting platform. We are never going to be a mass texting platform. There's a lot, not only is it not really human-centered, there's a lot of legality attached to it. All of the spam mass texts that you get on your phone on a regular basis are illegal, just so you know that. So yes, you can always text from the mobile app though, but it's for texting one-to-one, okay? When will BombBomb provide filters we can use to look better? We're not. I love you guys so much. And I know that we all don't always feel like we look our best every day. In fact, I felt like my face looked puffy today. That was the first thing that went through my mind. Oh, I've got webinars. I look puffy, right? Listen, who you are as a human being is who the world wants to see. It's okay for you to show up exactly like you look today, in your skin, in your face, who you are. You do not need a digital filter to alter how you look before you can engage with your customers and your prospects. That's all I'm saying on that.
You're killing it. That's why I'm just letting you roll, Alicia. You were just flying through this.
This last one, when I use the app on my iPhone, it seems like I can pause a video but can't change the camera while it's in pause. While recording, I can toggle between cameras. That's a correct assumption. I've never had it asked this way. If you really want, you could submit a feature request to support. I can't guarantee you that our tech team is going to jump on it right away, but the win for our mobile app though is that you can flip the camera while it's recording, and you can pause and pick back up the recording in one video, and it's going to keep it together. It's not going to separate it. I think Android users have some of that functionality on their normal camera, but iPhone users, iPhone doesn't let us flip the camera front and back while recording or pause and then start the recording, but the BombBomb mobile app will let you do that, okay? All right, let's see. I'm going to try and burn through some more of these.
I know, I think we've been hitting a lot of these. I mean, there's a question in Q&A about getting some editing tools for BombBomb. All I can say is there are discussions around that. We hear you guys that is something that feels like it's important. So we are talking about that sort of stuff. I definitely don't want to give a timeline and some of those sort of things. Alicia, this is a great question that I actually haven't looked into from Yvonne about the closed captioning. Can you edit the closed captioning before you send it out?
I believe that there is an option to edit the captioning if it messes up a word. Because
I think you can too. Let me see if I can play with this in 1 minute and get a for sure answer for you. But I believe I remember seeing that. So let me see if I can test this real quick.
Yeah, I'll keep answering questions while you play around with that.
Perfect.
Someone wanted to know about an expiration date on videos when they become unavailable to be viewed after a certain date. I'm very curious as to why you would want to do that, but without understanding why, no, you cannot. However, you can just delete a video if you don't want someone else to be able to watch it anymore. The important thing to remember though, is that if you delete a BombBomb video from your BombBomb video library, it will not be able to be watched anymore, even if it is still sitting in someone's inbox. Because once they press play on the video, it's going to say that the video file isn't there. So don't delete videos as a way to try and clean up your BombBomb account. People have got into trouble there before, where they're like, oh, I sent out a whole bunch of videos, but I didn't want it cluttering my account, so then I just deleted them. Nope, they won't be able to view them anymore. But that's the answer to your question, right? You can't put an expiration date on it, but if you really don't want a video to be viewed anymore, then you just delete it. Someone wanted to know about LinkedIn Recruiter. If LinkedIn Recruiter will show it as a message preview instead of just a link. Normal LinkedIn messages, when you send that video, when you take the BombBomb link and put it in a LinkedIn message, it will display the video preview in that thumbnail with the GIF in it. LinkedIn Recruiter won't do it. They have gated that. That's a choice on their end, and it's not just us. That affects anyone who's trying to send video there in LinkedIn. So that would be a question for LinkedIn support, honestly, if there's a way for them, if they'll change that or that type of thing. Has tracking been limited on Gmail? Someone says they feel like they're not getting a lot of emails or notifications. Your tracking, you might be like logged out of your tracking in Gmail. I feel like that happens to me sometimes, where it'll be like, you've been logged out. Would you like to send this without tracking? And I'm like, that's weird. So I'll just, log out, log back in, and it'll connect everything up. But we haven't done anything on our end to limit tracking. I would guess, that maybe something got switched or you got logged out in Gmail.
I will say, Alicia, if that is something where you feel pretty confident that things are getting engaged with that you're not seeing on the tracking, please submit a support ticket about that. We were talking earlier about being able to escalate some of these things.
Yep.
It just allows us to have better visibility on if this is an issue with one person or multiple people, and then we can escalate it to the really smart people who can actually figure out what's going on with that. So if that is something where you're like, I'm getting replies on emails, but I'm not even seeing that they're opened, right? Like you can 100% prove that something's not right there. Please submit a ticket to support at bombbomb.com, and we can make sure to track that as well, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We are at the top of the hour. Did you figure out anything on?
I did not figure anything out confidently, so I don't want to give 100% answer. I apologize to that, but I'll look into it more and see if we are able to figure out an answer on that. Maybe it's something we can include in the follow-up email, but I just don't want to lead one way or the other when I don't feel confident about it. So.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, well, we're going to get out of here, but a couple quick things to close out. First of all, thank you so much for joining us again. We're excited to be getting back onto a regular schedule of providing a ton of value, providing strategy and updates about the product. We appreciate you all submitting your questions. We're really glad that we got a chance to answer a lot of them. I apologize if we didn't get to your question. You can always reach out to our support team. You can either email them, or if you go onto our support site and start chatting, you are going to chat with a real person. That is not a bot. Okay. I just want to encourage you that we saw that at the beginning where people were asking about, how come we can't talk to a person, or I don't want to talk to a bot. The chat site on our support is monitored by a real person that are there to help you. Okay.
Hey, Alicia, one quick caveat to that, because I don't want to mislead anybody. If you are logged into your account and you open the get help option, there will be a bot that will help feed up some answers that can potentially help you. If you say, I want to chat directly with a human, you can get access to a human in there. So I just don't want to mislead. You will get fed up some recommendations beforehand, because a lot of people really like those. Yeah. But if you really need a live person, you can have that access through that bot as well.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that clarification. Last thing, I've seen it several times, people wanting to know about just getting started, or I'm new to it, or is there a place where I can learn the basics? If you go to our site where we have our webinars, Michelle or someone, can you throw it in the chat there again? There is a getting started webinar on there that you can register for, that's going to go over the basics and get you set up for success with video. bombbomb.com/webinar. We want to make sure you're successful. So if you are just getting started and today was really overwhelming, go to bombbomb.com/webinar, get registered for that getting started webinar. And there's lots and lots of tips there. Okay. Thank you guys so much for your lovely comments in there. Someone said, reminding us to be real and not allowing filters. Authenticity is priceless. That's a good way to wrap it up.
I was going to say, that's about as nicely tied with a bow as it can possibly get, right? I love that. So thank you all. You're all wonderful. It's so great to spend some time with you again. Thank you for telling us that this was important to you. And this really continues to allow us to have this time with you guys. We appreciate it so much. You'll get that email with the follow-up stuff. Reach out to us if we can help in any way. You're part of the family here. Otherwise, have an amazing Tuesday, and we can't wait to see you next month. Bye, everybody.